As we enter into the new year, 2023, 2022 was a rough year economically for most people. There were big increases in gas and grocery prices that led to struggles for a lot of Americans. We're being joined by our financial advisor, Randy Waesche, for his outlook on 2023. I'd like to say, let's be optimistic, but you got to be realistic.
You have to be realistic. I think I'll go back to what Jerome Powell said at his last meeting. Nobody knows.
And I was reading some news from a bunch of economists who are still very worried about the market, Wall Street, because it's just unknown what the Fed is going to do on rate increases.
Well, if the Fed continues to increase the rates,
even if 50%.
And they've said they're going to.
Yeah.
So let's remember that. We will have a negative impact on the economy, which is what they're trying to accomplish.
And right now, we talk about the economy being bad. The economy actually is very strong, and that's one of the problems.
Well, if you look at everything basically but employment, one would say we're in a recessionary environment. But when you look at 3.7% unemployment, spending is good, GDP is positive. We're not in a recession.
And economic growth is good, actually. So
Yes.
it's that inflation that is killing a lot of people.
6 months ago, the street was saying absolutely going into a recession. Now, it's a mixed bag whether or not we're going to go into a recession or not. But going back to your question, will the stock market recover? Standard & Poor's 500 PE ratio is still 27 at the end of the year. That's high.
Yeah, and it was a horrible year for the S&P, the
Down
Dow,
20%.
everybody. Yeah, so it was a rough one, especially if you've got a 401k or an IRA or something that you're afraid to look at it anymore.
Good news, rarely do you have 2 years in a row of negative returns.
Okay, and the question of whether we're in a recession, I mean, there's an old adage amongst economists where they say, economists have predicted 12 of the last 2 recessions.
Right. It is very difficult to predict. And the man who's orchestrating it is Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve Board chairman. And I think he's doing the right thing. They made mistakes early on. And
because they waited too long to raise interest rates.
So he's not going to slow down. And he's got to get unemployment up from 3.7% to a level closer to the Fed's target of 5 to bring down inflation.
And for most families, what do you see? Because gas prices in the summer months are going to go up again.
Yes.
We don't know about food prices or any other parts of inflation.
Well, if we break down inflation to the 3 core components that we got us to where we are, supply chain disruptions, for the most part, gone. We look at energy prices. For the most part, we're at the same level that we were before the invasion of Ukraine.
Okay.
All we're dealing now is labor. And labor is harder to extract from the economy, particularly when, as you said earlier, the economy's not in bad shape. Now, there are some positive signs for people. Housing prices have come down 11 straight months.
So if you're buying, it's good news. If you're selling, not so good news.
And new starts are off since the lowest they've been since May of 2020.
And interest rates on home mortgages just went up again.
Yes, they did. So it's going to be problematic.
And it is hard, especially for first-time home buyers. While the prices for houses have gone down because housing sales have kind of plummeted, it's still hard when you're paying less for the house itself, but so much more for a loan.
And the flip side is the rents are going up. So the new home buyer is really caught in a dilemma. I'm paying more and more in rent, and I'm getting squeezed out of the housing market. It's a shame.
All right, in one word, optimistic or not for 2023?
I'm always optimistic. And as I said a moment ago.
Realistically, you're optimistic?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve are going to get it right, and we'll see a reduction in the rates going up. They might keep them hold. So we're going to see more improvement in inflation. And I think there's a more than 50-50 chance that we'll see a positive equity year this year.
All right, Randy, thank you very much.